AEW has created a document with a list of moves and things that are banned from AEW, and it's been sent to the talent. Also requires moves that will now require clearance ahead of being done on AEW programming. We've got the full list of the words banned, moves banned, everything that's banned and requires clearance from AEW medical teams, legal teams, and coaches moving forward. It's a big developing story this evening/afternoon. Kota Ibushi has responded after he was announced for next week's Blood and Guts match in Boston, Massachusetts on AEW Dynamite as part of Team Elite, and an update on Nick Wayne's debut last night on AEW Dynamite. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of All Elite Wrestling, and a really interesting story today regarding the development of this internal document that's been sent around to some, not all, but some AEW talent, with some major changes coming to the in-ring AEW product, as well as things that are now banned, require clearance, and things that are prohibited on AEW television, pay-per-views, and AEW live events moving forward. So this comes from Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, and it's a really fascinating and in-depth story here. So there could be some major changes coming to the in-ring All Elite Wrestling product very soon. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select is reporting that Fightful has learned of a document that was sent out within the company recently that outlines some of the changes that the company was planning to make in regards to performer and fan safety. Now, it is important to note that while multiple people in the company confirmed the document was indeed legitimate and genuine, there are numerous talent who said to Fightful that they hadn't seen it themselves as of yet, but there's a lot of talent, so I guess it will be making its way around pretty quickly and pretty imminently. Now, there were protocols developed by the AEW medical team, coaches and referees who help protect the talent, staff, crew and the fans in attendance at all of the shows that AEW puts on. The document said that while there is always risk in pro wrestling, what they wanted to achieve here, they wanted to minimize the risk without compromising the quality of the talent's performances and ability to be creative when it comes to the in-ring product and wider product in AEW. Specifically, a document was sent out that outright banned unprotected chair shots to the head, as is the case with WWE, shots to the back of the head, buckle bombs, and blind moves backwards towards the turnbuckle, fencing responses such as unnatural position of arms following a concussion, seizure salves, spitting, bleeding in the crowd, weapons or projectiles in the crowd, taking drinks or food from guests in the crowd, or physical contact with the crowd. Now, Fightful are told that nothing with blood on it should actually be thrown into the crowd, i.e. if there's merchandise, if there's weaponry, if it's got blood on it, it should not be thrown into the crowd that's attending the live event. Now, obviously, this will affect the offense of a few wrestlers, but largely buckle bombs and attacks of the like seem to be the ones that are not allowed. However, there have been several instances of bleeding wrestlers in the crowd, which they're looking to cut down on. For instance, Anarchy in the arena, they're looking to cut down on the bleeding amongst the fans, which again would be for, you would think, legal purposes, lawsuit protection, and also any kind of just full coverage of safety for talent and, of course, fans as well. And MJF, of course, has been known for his physical interactions with the fans going back to AEW Revolution. He took a drink out of someone's a fan's hand, threw it in the face of a child. That turned out to be alcohol. AEW luckily managed to sort of wiggle their way out of that one, thanks to the likes of Amanda Huber and also Will Washington being on the scene very, very quickly. Powerhouse Hobbs was also involved in that, so now that's also prohibited. Bryan Danielson, you saw it at Forbidden Door, he's been known for his seizure-esque sales where he feigns having a seizure after a serious move that's been done on him, which would imply a head injury. Of course, Bryan Danielson has been known to suffer from concussion-related seizures, but now AEW has placed a ban on that as well. There was also a group of spots that was much more broad that was listed in this document, but are still permitted. However, they must be approved by medical and the coaches assigned to the specific match. So in order to do the move in the match, they have to go to medical, or they have to go to the coach, the producer, or whatever, and say, this is what we're going to do. Can we do it? And it has to be approved, and everyone has to know ahead of time. Now, it was noted that the list was not a comprehensive one and could be adjusted by medical, legal, and coaching staff. When approved, the moves are to be performed in accordance with safety protocols in place, so take it a certain way in certain conditions. Now, this is actually the list verbatim from the document of moves that need to be approved by the coach. Again, it must be stressed, these are not moves that are currently banned or anything like that, but these are moves that need to be approved by the coach to actually be taking place in the match. So these spots include spots and bumps on the ring apron and outside, Table, ladder, chair spots in and out the ring, only allowed with padding. Any elevated spots outside of the barricades, dives, and ladder spots on the stage, around the arena, and other places outside of the ring. Any pile driver / tombstone variations, including sit-down drivers, inverted poison hurricane rana, and vertebreakers. High-risk dives or top rope moves, so 450, 630, double moonsaults, SSP, etc. Intentional bleeding of any sort, not just blading. So again, hard way or blading has to be approved ahead of time. The coaches and the medical staff have to know that you're going to do it ahead of time. Throwing people into / through / over ring steps, commentary table, bell table or guardrails, barricades, weapon usage, chairs, pipes, kendo sticks, hammers, ring bells, bats, chains, etc., title belts, thumbtacks, skewers, barbed wire, and other sharp / puncturing objects, powders, aerosol sprays, or liquids, throwing any weapons or objects, chairs, etc., choking / strangling with hands or a weapon or hanging spots, injury spots or angles, whether or not medical is involved / called to the ring, any physicality in the crowd or crowd brawling, any physicality involving referees, managers, extras, celebrities, or special guests. Now again, it's important to ensure and differentiate what are completely prohibited. Buckle bombs are now completely prohibited, they're banned, and which other ones, that list we just gave you, they now require approval, and it's important to differentiate that to avoid any reader confusion. And the document said that providing the necessary parties with notice to plan, quote, creative stunts and spots is helpful. That way they can plan for them to be done as safely as possible. Talent will also encourage to speak to coaches, talent relations, medical team, or legal as early as possible for things that would require such planning and such clearance, so they know ahead of time and they can plan for it and they can determine whether it's safe to do so or not. Or, importantly as well, if it's also being done on the show in another match, because that's what's important as well. You don't want repetition. Now, one talent that Fightful spoke to said that they believe this is actually a good move and will help streamline the show, avoid repeat spots, as I just mentioned, and moves in general that have been done earlier on in the show to give it a more fresh feel and not a repetitive kind of feeling when you're watching the show, and make more of the athletic spots that talents are capable of. It is also expected to help instill some authority to the coaches and help production prepare for the spots. Sometimes if production doesn't know, that's how you miss spots, or camera angles miss things because they don't know that they're coming. Usually in production, there's actually an agent inside of the production truck to tell production what spots are going to happen where. Now, Fightful do say they're going to be asking more talent about their reactions as they become aware of it, but most that Fightful have heard from agreed it was necessary, and it was a necessary, quote, tightening of the screws as the company grows. Again, this isn't out of the norm. It's something that WWE have in terms of things have to get approved ahead of time. The majority of things in matches have to get approved ahead of time. They have to get approved by, as I mentioned, legal, producers, medical, production, all of the above, and it just looks like AEW is now following in the same position, particularly after a few high-profile incidents, as I mentioned, MJF at Revolution, Bryan Danielson recently at Forbidden Door, and other spots as well. So what are your thoughts on this document? Is this a good thing for AEW? Are they tightening the screws when it comes to things that are and aren't allowed? And is it just a case of a smaller developing company becoming bigger and therefore acting more professionally? Let me know your thoughts, as always, in the comment section below. Now, last night we found out that Kota Ibushi is the 5th and final member of Team Elite. The Golden Elite will be reuniting next week for Blood and Guts against the Blackpool Combat Club / the Callis family. Now, on last night's AEW Dynamite, Kota Ibushi was announced as a participant in the upcoming Blood and Guts match. The former New Japan star will team up with Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page, and the Young Bucks to face Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and Konosuke Takeshita, and Pac inside of the cage. Ibushi wasn't physically present last night to help out his allies on the show, but he has since commented on the match. Following the announcement he'll be part of Blood and Guts, Ibushi took to Twitter and responded accordingly. Ibushi apologized for keeping his teammates waiting, but he seems excited for next week's showdown with the Blackpool Combat Club, Pac, and Takeshita. Kept you waiting, huh? I've been watching AEW this whole time. Kenny, your 5th man is the Golden Elite's Kota Ibushi. Sorry I'm late, Paige, Bucks, Kenny. Next week I'll be there. Kota Ibushi is finally back at full strength, so we shall change the world together. Let's go. Of course, the news of Ibushi's involvement won't come as much of a surprise to fans who are familiar with his history. As he mentioned in the tweet, he and Omega were a successful tag team known as the Golden Lovers, and their friendship has been well documented. Furthermore, Ibushi's AEW debut was heavily rumoured in the lead up to last night's AEW Dynamite. Ibushi himself hasn't wrestled since WrestleMania weekend, where he worked 2 matches for GCW. Prior to those appearances, he was on the shelf with a shoulder injury, but he finally appears to be fully recovered and ready to go. Finally, Nick Wayne also made his AEW debut last night on Dynamite in a losing effort against Swerve Strickland. AEW Dynamite hosted the television debut of young upstart Nick Wayne, and on Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer said the recent high school graduate made an impression on the AEW audience. Quote, "He got over really big with the crowd," Meltzer declared. "Definitely, the ringsiders were chanting for him." Meltzer also added there was a lot of focus on Wayne's mother, who was in the audience, to the point that Meltzer expected some kind of angle involving her. Wayne did some cool stuff, Meltzer continued. "I don't think they had a great match. I think it was a good match, but the crowd was very into it." Meltzer says he doesn't think the debuting Wayne with the loss was a right move, but Wayne got over really big, so ultimately it worked out for their 18-year-old. Wayne was defeated by mogul MC Swerve Strickland, putting up a valiant fight and even getting a near fall on Strickland for following a springboard cutter. They did push him really hard, Meltzer noted, bringing up the vignettes that aired last week and this week, providing some backstory on the young star. It's not like they just threw him out there cold. The vignettes were reportedly the brainchild of Wayne's friend and former AEW TNT champion Darby Allin. Allin seconded Wayne during his match on Wednesday. Wayne is the son of wrestler and trainer Buddy Wayne, who passed away in 2017 at the age of 50. Wayne signed his contract last year at the age of 17, but AEW waited until he turned 18 recently before making his AEW TV debut. But there you go, guys. It's the latest AEW news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.